If you are with us inside the Football Museum, here's a tip. It's better to look for a slightly quieter space to listen to the history of the goals and radio room. Well, with all this noise, you can probably already tell that we are in a place dedicated to audio, radio, and goals. Media is a super important factor when it comes to the history of football. It is the press that tells the fans about everything that happens both on and off the football field. It is integral to the sport's culture. But women have also stayed out of this field for a long while. Not that there was a law keeping women from writing in newspapers or talking on the radio, but it was rare to see women featured as play-by-play or expert commentators. Listen to this precious piece that Eugênia Moreira recorded back in 1932.
Domingo, Campeonato Carioca, jogo do Fluminense com o Vasco. O estádio está cheio, cheio, cheio. Não sei se é em São Januário ou é nas Laranjeiras.
This is a rare recording made by Eugênia, an actress and a reporter, commenting on an imaginary tournament between Vasco and Fluminense teams. At the dusk of the 1940s, journalist Maria Helena Nogueira Rangel came up. She was one of the first women to cover sports in Brazil at sports newspaper Gazeta Esportiva. In São Paulo, Germana Garilli, known as GG, debuted as a field reporter in 1962. Then it was another pioneer's turn, Semiramis Alves Teixeira. In Rio, Marilene Dabus was shining as the interviewer of football stars for newspaper Jornal dos Esportes. But have you heard of Rádio Mulher, or Rádio Women? The station was on air during the 1970s. All of its professionals were women: reporters, presenters, drivers, audio operators, everyone. In it, Zuleide Ranieri made history as the first woman to commentate on a match, Soviet Union against Czechoslovakia. So, when a woman takes the microphone and starts broadcasting, commentating on a football game, then everyone gets a little bit weirded out. Zuleide talked about her experience in this interview for Rádio Amantes no Ar. Everyone thought it wasn't going to take off and said, come on, this isn't going to work. Women don't have this kind of potential. But then, when they started to pay attention, when they started realizing that the audience was increasing, and it was increasing more and more, and that the crowd looked up at the stadiums and shouted out our name, we started receiving mail not only addressed to Rádio Mulher, but we arrived at the stadium and people came to hand a bunch of letters to us, you know? Other additions to the Radio Women team include Claudete Troiano, who later became a sports anchor on TV, expert commentators Jurema Mayara and Leila Silveira, and Marli as a sideline reporter. Leia Campos was responsible for analyzing the referees' work. Radio Women ended in 1976. However, women's participation in sports journalism since has all but grown. Reporters who took the stage later were Cláudia Reis and Teresa Cristina, as well as Regiane Ritter, who in 1994 became the first woman to cover a World Cup. Luciana Mariano, another noteworthy reporter, worked at TV Bandeirantes in the 1990s. Women's presence in the media these days is much more extensive. Journalists Ana Thaís Matos and Renata Mendonça are examples of this change. And Aline Calandrini, former player of the Brazilian team, now is an expert commentator. Renata Silveira was a pioneer sportscaster by commenting on a men's game of the 2014 World Cup on Rádio Globo, a popular news radio. Other women have trailed her, gaining space as commentators, such as Isabelle Moraes, Elaine Trevisan, Viviane Falcone, Camila Garcia, and Natália Lara, whom you are about to hear.
Larissa fez o domínio. Amanda Gutierrez está ali por perto também. Foi derrubada a Larissa. Kathleen! É pro 100º! Gol do Santos! Professora, anota lá que são 100 dela! Kathleen, 100 vezes Kathleen! Um marco histórico na camisa das Sereias da Vila!
we still have a lot to achieve going forward. Brazil is filled with competent communicators all over the country, from north to south, waiting for an opportunity in the sports world. Well then, start warming up your vocal cords, because in the next room, we will talk about the soul of the game, the fans.